Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the RIP Tour podcast. I am your tour guide, Tim. I feel like I haven't been here in forever, so how's it going, guys? How we all doing? We have the group with us. Gary, how are you, sir?
Who even are you?
I just came in from off the street. I don't know what's going on. There was a link to come in, and here I am.
We were starting to think you had quit, but
no,
you're still here.
Work's been nuts, and school and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, understandable. But I'm good.
Excellent.
Did an okay day here in the UK for once. So
Is it cold or no?
Today. It's about 50, so not too bad.
No, that's not terrible. All right,
not awful.
Cool. Ash, sir, how are you today?
Good, man. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad you're back, Tim. I've been hosting duties for the last couple of episodes. So
that's the only reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, Liz, how are you today? It's nice. It's after 10 and you're awake. And
I didn't want to. It's a lovely rainy day. I wanted to stay in bed and relax, but here I am, hanging out with you guys.
Absolutely. So we're here for another episode. This is the what should we call this? The not so or the way too early predictions, wish list, speculation.
Yeah.
Just way too early. And basically, we're just going to run this as a round table. Each of us have put together some lists of like things that maybe are going to come this year, maybe not going to come, things we want to come. I know we've done wish lists and all that kind of stuff before, but I think this is going to be a mix of possible rumors, possible wish lists, and possible who knows. Does that sound good, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's start with Ash. What are you bringing to the table first? Like, what do we got here? Rumor, wish list. What do we got going on?
Okay, so I've got a bit of everything on my list. I do want to preface first. We are not in the know-how. We don't have spoilers, rumors, things like that. We always try to maintain the integrity of the event, of course. Just first one off the bat, just because I know you guys are going to touch on other things. I just want to bring up, nice and simple, Blumhouse. The relationship now goes back, 27? First Blumhouse? Yeah, so the relationship goes back from there. We've pretty much had something Blumhouse every single year. I'm thinking, just in terms of the successful ones we've had, Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm hearing it's going to be a long shot just because the person who officially owns like the audio animatronics is really difficult to work with. He likes money apparently, so that's going to be a huge wrench in the work for that one. But that'd be cool. I think Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's discuss that one first. It did really, really well. Straight to Peacock, Tim, but it did really, really well. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Does anybody have Five Nights on their list as well? Anybody? No. Okay.
No,
I didn't either. I just feel like this is going to be a difficult maze to do, because it's all basically. I mean, they're real people, dressed in costumes and stuff. But
yeah.
That's what I've heard too. Is that whoever owns the actual rights to the game and whatnot wants a lot of money for it to appear at HHN. I mean, it'd be fantastic. It'd be kind of cool. I mean, those characters are kind of creepy. I mean, they're just big. I don't want to call them puppets because they're not puppets, but that's what they look like to me, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on just kind of maybe realistic ones. I think anything kind of Blumhouse is sort of realistic too. I don't want to reach for something may not be coming.
Can I stop you there real quick? What? Because I'm so clueless sometimes, and I've been so busy. I know there was some kind of acquisition with Blumhouse recently with something else that will have other horror stuff. What?
It was Lionsgate, wasn't it?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and that actually brings. If nobody has anything else, Blumhouse. Does anybody else have anything Blumhouse?
I don't actually.
No, okay. So there is another one coming called Imaginary, and that is the venture, Tim, between Lionsgate and Blumhouse, and that is the kind of the girl goes back to a childhood home. There's like a teddy bear and everything. Then it's again possessed and stuff. So that's another option as well.
I actually just saw that now that you're saying that with the teddy bear. Yeah.
So that's weird. So I'm putting that one on the table. Anything Blumhouse, I think that's a realistic shout.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. I just don't know what it'll be. But
yeah.
Are there any other movies scheduled for later release that we know of?
That's what I checked yesterday. The only one was Night Swim, but I think that's already out right now, right?
I believe
Is it
you
called
are
Night Swim?
correct.
Yeah, I think it's out.
I think it's
out.
already out.
I
And
know what
that'd
you're
be
talking
difficult,
about,
right? It's like a
I
swimming
think
pool.
that would be hard to portray as a house.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless we're
Unless
all
we're
going
all
swimming.
swimming.
Yeah, exactly. All right, sick. Let's move on to Liz. Liz, what do you have from your list of things?
All right, I'll go for one that's, I think, realistic and one that we probably are all expecting to see, and that's a creature from the Black Lagoon house, you know?
Woo!
The next up in our Universal Classic Monsters, he needs his moment in the spotlight. I think my biggest question would be, I don't think he's going to get a standalone house.
Damn it.
So who would they match with him? Gary, who do you think they'd put with Creature?
That's a hard one. I mean, the way that they've done it, the last few houses, they've just, I mean, the last one was more random than anything. Where do you even start? They could do something totally crazy that we're just not expecting. You know, it could be Creature and Frankenstein. It could be Creature and the Wolfman. I don't know. I want to think sort of more like swamp type settings.
Yeah, who's going in the swamp?
Yeah, I know.
Yeti.
I know Frankenstein sort of had more Yeti versus Creature.
Oh my gosh, the multiverse.
Mashup.
Yeah.
But Frankenstein does have those couple of scenes where he's down by the lake in the original movie. So who knows?
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. Anybody else? Got any comments?
Well, I want to know who's got Creature of the Black Lagoon on their list. Come on, own up. Fess.
I do.
All of us.
Hello.
I
Hi.
completely forgot about this.
Oh,
I'm so
all right.
embarrassed.
Oh,
I want to give Jason a shout out here because he also had it on. Jason's not with us today, but he had it on his little wish list as
He
well. So
hasn't
Tim,
died.
yeah,
He's just not
No,
with
he's-
us today.
it's not his will. It's not his will that he wanted me to read out.
It's in his will.
Yeah,
the last thing I want is a creature.
last thing
from
I
the
want
Black
is for
Lagoon.
Ash to read off Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Wow.
But Tim, you've been a huge advocate for this one. Talk to me about Creature of the Black Lagoon.
I want this house. I want a standalone house, but I agree with Liz. I think we're going to get some kind of combination, and then I also agree with Gary. I think it's just going to be random because I feel like the last couple have been random put-togethers. So I don't know. Is there any other monster you think would go with the creature?
I'm struggling on that one.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, like Gary said. You know.
So this whole Munster thing at Horror Nights, I think, is leading up to Epic.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, for sure.
It's linked somehow.
Yeah.
So I think whatever they are doing, it's for a reason.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
You know, this is like the last year before Epic is actually open. So I think it's going to be something quite special if it did come to the event.
Yeah, I agree. All right, you guys have all hit on your list. One, Gary?
I haven't.
Okay, let's go to Gary.
So
got?
this is more of a wish list. I can't
Okay.
actually see this coming, but I think Ash's eyes might light up. I'm going with a comedy house first. And Amazon Prime's totally killer 80s movie.
Oh, that's a good movie.
It gave me such a Blumhouse, freaky vibe type thing. I really, really enjoyed the movie.
It was
Anything
fun.
80s mixed with killers is awesome. So I think that could be a pretty good comedy house, to be fair. But it's more of a wish list than
I agree,
think it
though.
might
I
come.
like that. That's actually really. I just watched that not that long ago, and I totally enjoyed that movie. So,
Yeah, it was a really
did
good
everybody
movie,
see
to
it
be
here?
fair.
Liz, Ash, did you guys see it?
Yeah,
Liz,
I
you haven't
watched
seen it yet.
I-
Okay.
I haven't yet. I'm going to put it on my list now.
Okay.
I
Cool.
loved it. Just in terms of the movie in general, I think me and Gary talked about it. My only wish list was when they did go back in time. Sorry for spoilers. I wanted it to be more 80s. I wanted it right in my face.
Way to ruin
you
it for
know,
Liz
But,
and everybody
I mean,
else.
But
it's not a spoiler.
Totally
It
Killer
was more
was
subtle.
Blumhouse. It is Blumhouse.
Is it? Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
Jason
didn't remember
Blum
the
produced
Blumhouse.
it. Yeah.
Ah, right. I've never really seen much of his stuff go on to Prime
so-
straight away. So
well, then maybe that's the Blumhouse one,
could be.
or at least one of them. Maybe it's a combo house. Again,
We've had that in the past.
But I'll kind of get to that later because obviously that Fast and Furious section or house now is a very good thing to split up things You've all been through the
100%,
houses now for the last couple of years. You know, you have that little, you know, you go through that first part and then you walk outside and then it sets you up for the second half of the house. So
That's such a good use of that space as well.
Correct.
I think that's perfect for a split house.
Yep. So maybe we do
That's a
get
great
that.
idea.
So, all right. I'm just gonna go all out big here because why not, right? So this is obviously this has been on my wish list for forever, but I also feel like this is a rumor as well, and that is and this is a big one because I don't think we've seen him, and Ash and Liz will be the ones to tell us when the last time we have seen this character. But Nightmare on Elm Street is I need to see Freddy. I have not seen Freddy yet at HHN. So Ash or Liz, when was the last time we saw? Yeah. When was the last time we saw Freddy?
2015.
Thanks,
So that-
Tim.
What? Oh,
I
was
was
that on
there.
your? Oh, you were there for that. I'm so sorry, Gary. My bad. All right, so Gary.
Just for the house I went through.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Liz.
Now, I will say he obviously had a mashup house that year. It was Freddy versus Jason. The last time we saw him with a standalone house was 2007.
Okay, so it's been quite some time since Freddy has gotten the love for himself.
Yes.
This is, to me, I feel like this is maybe a big possibility, because this is the 40th anniversary of the original Nightmare on Elm Street. So 1984. And I will get back to 1984 a little bit later, but I have some theories and some thoughts about that year. So,
Can I just ask a quick question, Tim?
yeah, go for it.
So, would you want it just, even though it's like the 40th anniversary of one,
Yep.
would you like a mashup house of the best scenes of the series? Because it's not going to be something where they're going to do film one year, film two the next year.
Right.
It's only going to come back once every few years. Would you like a mashup? Dream
Great
Warriors
question.
2, all this sort of stuff.
That is a great question. I honestly would love a mashup house, but because it's the 40th anniversary, I think I would want the OG, just the original movie for a maze. But I am not opposed to a mashup house if that's what they end up doing with it. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
So this one was on my list as well,
I figured.
because it's time. We've seen so many of the other classic 80s horror characters come back these recent years, and Freddy has not had a house since, I'm going to say 2007, since he had to share with Jason. It's time. And that 2007 house, Ash, I don't know how well you remember it, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I have some great memories, partially because a scare actor ran into me who was playing Freddy, and I still have nightmares about that. But it was a fantastic house, had a Q video.
Okay,
You
I
walked
have a
in,
question, Liz.
saw.
I have a question. So that house, what was that Freddy house based on? Was that a mashup? What was at that time? What was going on?
It had the dream theme to it. So it had a little bit of an original Q video, but then you walked through the facade of Elm Street, and
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't remember a ton inside aside from some Elm Street scenes. There were some hospital scenes with curtains. Ash, how much do you remember?
Yeah, so with the Q video, it kind of we were kind of like test subjects, weren't we? We were testing out the sleep sleep aid, and then we went through it. Yeah, there was like the bed. I think it was it's Johnny Depp scene in Nightmare on Elm Street where the bed's on the wall you go through. Do you know the Johnny Depp scene where he gets ripped for the bed, Tim? In the first Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah.
So that scene, they did that scene, but it was like on the wall. So you're walking through the bed, you know, where he gets kind of ripped
cool.
in, things like that. So
yeah,
it was cool. And that's when we had the video was kind of in the queue line just to kind of give that added, but it was cool. But I think for sure, Tim, I think this one's got some legs. Like you say, it's the anniversary. Yeah. Liz just mentioned. Just think we had Michael for 31. We had Texas Chainsaw Massacre again 30. Even just in name, last year Exorcist is a huge monster IP in terms of horror, right? So I think this one's got some legs. I think.
Ash, I have a question for you. So, because you're the historian and you know some of these news too. So, is there any issue with getting Freddy, rights wise?
I know New Line at the time had some stipulations, Liz, didn't they? In 17, they had a lot of stipulations with those. I'm going to be honest with you, off the bat, I don't know who owns it right now. Is it still New Line? Are they defunct now? Like, who owns that now? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And then, is it true? Did I hear? I swear I heard rumors last night. In fact, while I was at the Neck Deep show, is Universal trying to acquire Warner Brothers?
I don't know. Where'd you hear that?
I was kind of told that last night that is something that's happening. I haven't done any research, so I don't know.
I just Googled something interesting.
Okay.
New Line Cinema is owned by Warner Brothers.
Oh, Tim. Tim's got his little moles and eyes and ears everywhere. Look at him.
So
that's interesting.
Gary, can you just because you're there on the computer or whatever, can you plug in and see if anything pops up for Universal trying to acquire Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to get the scoop here.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what I was told last night by somebody, and I was like, oh, I hadn't even heard that. So I don't know how true that is, but that would be an absolute game changer if Universal was able to acquire Warner Brothers. Holy cow, the properties that will come to HHN finally.
Yeah. Things we've been waiting to see.
Correct.
They need it because Disney owns everything else.
Yeah, correct. You find anything yet, Gary? Or
it says that the Warner Brothers are having early talks with Paramount, but because the offer is now being made public, it could lure Comcast NBC to the table as well.
There it is.
There you go.
There it is. Okay, cool. Perfect. Ooh. Man, that would be something. Man, we'd finally get Pennywise and It. Oh, my God. Everybody's been
that'd be
begging for that one, right? And
Come
that's
on,
not
2025.
Not on my list, but Gary, do you have any thoughts about Nightmare on Elm Street?
I did have this on my list as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Freddy versus Jason was the first house I ever went through. And
nice.
I think you can say that's where my love for horror nights started. And you all know I'm obsessed with 80s horror to start with, so getting to experience 80s horror sort of in real life, in a real setting with that much budget, just blew my mind. So that's where the love started. So if this comes back, I will be so excited.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I've seen everybody, like all the big slashers, you know what I mean? Yeah. I need Freddy. We need Freddy back. Bring him back.
Yeah. There's so many new fans who haven't even seen him, so it's time.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. All right, Ash, let's go back to you. What else you got on your list there?
Yeah, Liz just kind of set me up nicely. Speaking about newer fans, I think what Universal have done a good job with, especially since 28, when we had the influx from Stranger Things, whatever it may be, is revisiting some of the lore and history. Just think 30 alone, we had, what do we have? Scary Horror in the Heartland, we had Icons, we had... what else did we have then? Legendary Truth, and then we just had Oddfellow, right? So that covers a lot of, lore and history just in those 4 mazes there. So I'm thinking, is 25 far enough away for maybe the Body Collectors to come back this year? Even Psychoscare, maybe even Run, right? Because all those 3 were in 25. But I think at 25, it's almost 10 years ago. That's insane when you think about it. And a lot of fans haven't really seen a Body Collectors or I know we had a bit of Psychoscare in Scary from 30, but yeah, just give me something in that realm,
I have a question, or maybe more a comment. So you just mentioned, so it'd be 10 years. Do you think they wait for that anniversary of 10 years?
Possibly.
Possibly for Body Collectors, because wasn't the first year of Body Collectors 2005? And
Correct.
then they did 20. I mean, there was one in the middle, but they did 2015
as well.
Yeah, so could be 2025. Body Collectors back again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're just that kind of big 3 pieces of lore. They even Run, bringing Run back maybe in some capacity would be cool.
Nice.
It's funny you mentioned Run.
Do you want to jump in then, Garrett? You want to jump
in? So I would love to see a remake of Run in some capacity. But Run, Blood, Sweat and Tears was also set in Hellgate Prison as well from HHN33. So I would love to see, a remake of Hellgate, Run again. I think that would be really cool to bring back.
Yeah.
Nice.
That
Canadian original we haven't saw in a while.
What house did you see that was Run, Gary?
Blood, Sweat and Tears.
Oh, Blood, Sweat and Tears. Tears. Okay, cool.
And I love that house. I love
nice.
the Japanese.
Well,
section.
now I
I
want
love the Canadian one. Canadian one with the chopper was so funny.
Now I want to hear from the vets on this. Liz, Ash, let's go Liz first. Liz, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think Run was there my very first year, and I was too afraid to go into it because the title made me think they were going to chase me through the house.
That's awesome.
So I think it's time to see a reboot. Just go back to the roots of it and see Run the way it was originally intended. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ash, you can jump in here. I think the original Run was supposed to be part of Eddie's story.
Correct. It was supposed to be Eddie's maze for 11. Correct.
Yeah, and then Eddie got replaced with Jack, and he missed out on that. So what about we get the actual Run that was supposed to have Eddie in it? I think that'd be really cool.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Do you think we get any icons this year or no?
That's the big question always.
I know.
I say no.
I'm thinking no too. I feel like maybe they want to save it for the next anniversary, which would be what, 35?
Which is next year. Yeah.
So, well, no, it would be 2 years, wouldn't it?
No, it'll be 2 years because COVID messed up the same.
I know, the math messes me up.
COVID messed up the math, so.
I know. Darn it.
All right, cool.
It was so easy to remember.
Nice. All right, Liz, what's next on your list?
All right, we'll go with we're kind of talking reboots right now, so I'll stick with that. We talked about this recently. I'd like to see the SS Titanic come back and get a makeover for this new era of Halloween Horror Nights. See what they can do with this current era of sets and design. And it'd be amazing if it could be a split house like they did back in the day. And we just had a double ending with Dueling Dragons, so they're obviously toying with this new quote unquote idea. I think it's time to return to the Titanic.
That'd be sick. I'm all down for that, and especially if they're going to do it just like you said, Liz. If they're going to do it like they used to with the two actual separate paths, and not just the ending like we got with Dueling Dragons.
Yeah, a little bit of a longer portion at least, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Any other thoughts, Ash, Gary? Did you guys have this on your list?
I almost did put it on the list, but I didn't want to, have a mega long list of things that could come to Horror Nights, or I want to come to Horror Nights. But getting not experiencing this house is sad for me, because when we discussed it on the history episode last week, it just sounded amazing. Especially when we talked in detail about it, and with the split path, I just think that's something that needs to come back to Halloween Horror Nights just to give us something, different. That hasn't been at the event for a while. In the theming as well on a ship. I would just absolutely love that.
I think we're all in agreement. We love the ship and seafaring houses and scare zones and stuff. So, okay, so we got Gary, we got Liz, Ash. You're up next. What's on your list?
Is it not you? Did you go this round?
No, not yet. What, Liz? Did you want to say something?
Oh, yeah,
No, I was just saying-
about.
Oh, okay. I just saw that.
I was saying it's your turn. It's
Yeah,
your
it's
turn.
your turn.
Oh,
Your
it
turn,
is?
host.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I know. All right, let's see. What do I want to bring off this list? Actually, you know what? I don't know if I want to put these together because they're both originals. But when are we going to get is it Holidays in Hell that the West Coast has had? I guess a couple times or more than a couple times. Why have we not got that here yet? I want.
Yeah,
that.
I've got something similar to him. I did
Okay.
put HR Blood and Guts on there, sort of like a return of that, the
Okay, so-
compilation holiday theme. Yeah.
That is my other one. Is I had HR Blood and Guts listed right next to Holidays in Hell. So I was like, one of these two, please bring. I think it's also time. Well, first of all, I think it's time that we got Holidays in Hell. Whether it's the West Coast version or obviously Orlando does their own version, but I feel like, I don't know. I'm a big fan of horror and different holidays. I love the mashup. So.
Agreed.
And then obviously, I mean, the only time I've experienced HR Blood and Guts was in Welcome to Scary. So,
yeah.
I would love a full-fledged HR Blood and Guts house. So, Anybody? Ash, Liz, I'll start with you first, just because you've been here longer and probably saw that. I don't think Gary or myself have been through an HR Blood and Guts house, except for Scary. Is that correct, Gary?
Gary didn't go through Scary. Don't bring that up, Tim. Come on.
Oh. I'll just see myself right out the door. I'm so sorry, Gary.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You know what Scary did, though? It kind of, I don't think it took off the table, but it kind of incorporated so much other history and so much of the lore in terms of, what they've done, that I'm thinking, oh, they kind of did that in Scary for a part of a room. Are they not going to do that now? Do you know what I mean? They did like 10 different parts of mazes in it. And I thought, will they touch that again? But I think the holidays, Tim, are just so good. Give me the Arbor Day room from Blood and Guts again, just so good. The Thanksgiving room was great, but I wouldn't mind this as a scare. I know we're not doing scare zones, but even out on the streets, I wouldn't mind stages set up. Just think of Hollywood, and you get all these different holidays as well. I think a scare zone would lend itself nice to this as well.
I mean, that seems to be the trick that they do, right? Scare zone first, see how it goes, and then work it into a maze, right?
I've got one of those coming up as well.
Look at this. Ash touching on everything. My goodness. Liz, any thoughts about holidays or HR Blood and Guts?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll jump in because I had Spooky Christmas on my list. So
Okay,
I feel like
nice.
this goes along the same train of it's been a while since we've had a holiday spin on Halloween Horror Nights. So obviously, I think everyone here loved Krampus.
Loved it.
And I loved Psychoscare Be Home for the Holidays. So it's been a while since we've had that twist. Obviously, HR Blood and Guts would work perfectly as well because you could get all the holidays back. But I really want just a full, creepy, spooky, funny Christmas house.
I'm with you. I like that. Gare, what do you think?
I'm all for that, as long as we get the gingerbread smell pumped into the house again.
Yes.
Better. Give me all the gingerbread.
Definitely one of the best smelling houses, right?
Because that room inside Krampus was just something else.
So good.
So good. That whole kitchen scene with the little gingerbread men all over the place.
I love it.
Yeah.
So good. All right. Okay, so back to Ash. What you got on your list?
Yeah, so we kind of talked about it. I like to say the trick or treatment, where you have a zone going into a maze. They kill a clown. They've done Souls and Steam. Scare zone first, maze second. I would absolutely love a Twisted Tradition maze, just that pure Halloween goodness. You go into it with the sign where it says that the township of Carey. We have the pumpkin face, or the decaying pumpkins, the big kind of lord with his glow up ribs and face. We could have the barn in there too that you're walking through. I think they could make it a real creepy house. So I'm thinking this in the same vein as like Scarecrow and a Sprung tent, but I would love Twisted Tradition as an actual maze, I think.
Nice. Liz, what do you think?
Yeah, that Scare Zone had some of the best masks and costumes, and I would love to see that again. I love a traditional Halloween spooky house. We saw it with Wicked Growth, and I think that was universally loved. So I think this one would be a big hit.
I agree. That was the Scare Zone with the church wasn't up immediately, but then it arrived like a couple weeks into the event. Was that Scare Zone, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Just making sure I have.
Imagine trying to build a church there now.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, there's a big stage there right at the moment, so.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Gary, what you got next on your list?
So this year is the 20th anniversary for the original Ghost Town. It first appeared in 2004. We did have the sequel. Was it 26 or 27?
26 was Ghost Town, yep.
26,
yeah.
So 20th anniversary. Bring it back. Fun house.
I'm with you.
That.
So what do you want? Do you want like just a new rendition?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
It doesn't have to be an exact remake.
Okay.
Where's my gold? Part 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's my gold?
Where's my silver?
There you go.
know.
That's it. Where's my silver? Oh, boy.
Inflation. He's a bit worse off now in 2024. So we could be where's my silver? So yeah, it could be a totally brand new story around that setting.
Nice.
But I just think that would be a cool. Why can't the originals get some anniversary love as well?
Sure, I get that. Liz, what do you think?
It could be. Oh, God.
Or Ash?
Well, I was just gonna say, just the town of Lightning Gulch. Anyway, like Gary said, you could even get Lightning Gulch and do a completely different story with it too, which would be pretty cool.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think the house from 26 was just a reboot of it rather than a sequel. So let's do a sequel.
Let's do it. Universal, are you listening? Somebody's listening. Okay, Liz, what do you got on your list?
All right, well, we'll continue on with the scare zone into our house trend. And I think we all know what I'm going to say. I want to see Invasion get a house. I want to see my aliens back.
I'm
I want
shocked.
to see a big crashed UFO scene. I know, no one saw this coming.
Nope.
But just the vibe, the feeling of the scare zone with the classic music from the 1950s and 60s, the campy aliens, and I just want a really great UFO crash scene, you know?
I'm down. I think this would be an amazing house. Just like you said, it'd be so campy and so fun. Yeah, I would be all about this house too. So what about you guys, Gary and Ash?
Gary, you gonna go?
Give me Invasion, but the storyline is the UFO has crashed into Cabana Bay.
Yes.
Oh my God, that'd be
Yes.
amazing.
Even
That would be
better.
And then
awesome.
have the photo up
Oh
at
my
Cabana
gosh.
Bay
Oh
to
my
be
gosh, that's
Invasion,
amazing.
and then
That
decorate
would be
Cabana Bay.
killer.
And
I would just live in that house. I'd just be in that
This
line
was-
over and over.
the Swizzle Lounge could become the Invasion Lounge, and
Oh,
I love it.
just give me a paycheck now, Universal.
Yes. Oh,
Get it done.
please make it
wow,
happen.
that would be really, really amazing. This would be the house that Liz would go through 100 times in the season.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Like, like hands down, we'll do
Made
it.
for me.
Yep.
It just made me think of that when, like, you know, we've done Dueling Dragons into a ride. Why not just incorporate a hotel? Some more
why not?
universal lore into the,
I mean,
into the storyline.
it fits that whole, campy 50s, 60s vibe anyway, so that'd be fantastic.
It's my
definitely.
tattoo coming to life because my tattoo is a Cabana Invasion
Nice.
mashup. So,
That's awesome.
oh yeah, I'd live there.
All right, what do you think, Ash?
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time we had like a true sci-fi house? I know we had Depths of Fear, but that was what, submarine or an underwater one. I mean, I'm thinking like Interstellar Terror from Reflections of Fear, but it's got to be campy. It's got to be, they can't take themselves too seriously. It's got to be more self-referential. It can't be like a real terrifying house. You know, I think the campiness and yeah, have them crash into Cabana Bay. Absolutely. I'm all for that. Just, yeah,
Nice.
we need a sci-fi house, just period, I think.
I agree. I'm with you. All right, is it me now? Okay. I'm going to go for my wish list. I think I ask for this every year. I'm never going to get it. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I want the fog to finally come. I know we've had renditions of like Dead Man's Pier, Dead Man's Wharf, which is, kind of similar, but I want to see Captain Blake. I want to see them red eyes lit up in a house coming after me. You know how I love this movie. Big fan of this movie, have been for some time, and I just think this would make an amazing house. But that's my wish list because I feel like this is never coming. So, anybody got
because
thoughts?
the fog budget was used in Jungle of Doom last year.
They used all the fog in that zone.
Actually did. Rumor has it it's still floating about now.
Probably.
That's why Central Park was blocked off the other day when I went through. I had to walk around.
They're like, we're still clearing the fog. Please give us a minute. All right. Anybody got thoughts on the fog?
I like it. I mean, like you said, Tim, they've kind of done it without doing it right, but, Forsaken and then Dead Man's both kind of iterations. But, yeah, I'd like the fog in name for sure. Yeah, give me some Captain Blake.
Then I get some Johnny C music to go along with it for that house. So,
Yep.
I mean, anything he does, I love. So, Liz or Gary, any thoughts about the fog?
We had the violin lady, which looked amazing in Dead Man's. Give us that lighthouse with the fog. in a soundstage.
Yes,
That would be
sir.
really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Like-
with you that I don't see it happening, but it would be good.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Gary, what's on your list, sir?
This is more of a wish list thing because we have had it quite recently, but the video game is due to release this or next year, and it is Killer Klowns from Outer Space. I would love to see something else done with it. The craze has just went wild for Killer Klowns since it's been at Halloween Horror Nights, and it's the guys, the Kyoto brothers and John Massari have been so busy with it recently. And now we are getting a video game. So I would love to see a new storyline along with the clowns. I think that could just be so much fun.
Based on the game?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if the, I don't know if the,
on.
yeah, I don't know if the game is going to have an entirely different story or if it's just going to be based
I
on
think
the
from what
movie.
I saw, the
I'm not
game's
sure.
going to be a little bit like the Texas Chainsaw game and what was the other game?
Friday
that
the
was around
13th.
that,
Yeah, like-
that
Yeah.
sort of vibe, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sure they could come up with a new storyline.
I mean,
or-
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
What would
but
be better?
I just absolutely loved it.
Maybe they get the Chiodo brothers to actually just come up with some kind of story and let them have at it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, that's just a total wish list thing for me.
No, that's all good. I get that too. It might be a little bit too soon for them to return. I mean, what was the last time? What was the house? Because the zone was first.
29?
29?
It was the house. 28
Was it?
zone. Yeah, 29 was the house.
Yeah, I
right,
guess
right. I thought it was
all right, so-
27, 28.
Okay, so maybe it's not as close as I thought it was. So I take that back. All right, anybody else?
I have a
Thoughts
question
on-
as well. I have a question
there you go.
about Killer Clowns, actually. Maybe to Gary, actually, because I know you're a big fan. So the zone 28 elite, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
The house, it was good. I enjoyed it, but it could have been better. Now, the way it was painted inside, I know a lot of people are saying it was supposed to be a 3D house, but then that didn't happen. Would you? I know it's a bit of a touchy subject. Would you like this as a 3D house or?
I thought the house was too bright. It didn't add to the 3D. I thought they could have used UV a lot better than the bright paint that they used. So I thought we could have had a lot of blacks with a lot of UV. Like when you go through that scene in Cat in the Hat on the ride, where it's got all like the UV colours and stuff like that. I thought they could have used that a little bit more. But what was the last 3D house we had? Was it Chance?
Chance would have been, yeah.
One of the
Yeah.
Sorry,
Ruined
I'll
it
just-
forever.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. No.
I would love to see Killer Clowns with the vortex tunnel. I think that would be that could be.
I
worked in
hate that
pretty
tunnel.
well.
Oh my god, do I hate that tunnel?
You used to
I
use that
get
every year,
so-
dude.
I get so messed up every time I need to walk on that. Oh god, it's so bad.
But I do think that if they were going to bring back a 3D house, it would have to be something like Killer Clowns that they could get away with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
so I have a question. I guess for all three of you, because I think Gary might have gone through another. Have you gone? Is that the only 3D house you've been through, Gary? Is the Chance one?
Did you do Asylum in Wonderland, Gary, at 25?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So my question then to you guys, I mean, Gary, you've only been through those two, and I don't know if there's been more 3D houses. You guys would know what has been the best 3D house in your guys' opinion.
You want to go first, Liz? What's your favorite?
It's you go ahead because I can't. I'm struggling to think the name of it right now.
Okay.
And I know we're
I
going to
think
say the same one.
Yeah, my favorite's from 21, The In-Between.
Yes, that's the one in between.
yeah.
I had Afterlife stuck in my head.
Afterlife was a 3D maze, though.
It was, but not the right one.
Yeah, The In-Between was good. I think it did get House of the Year that year with Forsaken. I think both of them got co-House of the Year, I believe. But the In-Between
so-
was really good.
My question then to both of you then was: were the 3D effects that good, or was it just a good house? It wouldn't have mattered if
I
it was in
think-
3D or not.
Personally,
question.
for me, the best effects that were in between were more laser, and there was one particular scene where the person had a black costume that had wings, and they would stay bundled up and then come out with the wings, and the UV light would hit them, and I think that was the best scare. So I don't think you would necessarily need the 3D glasses. Aside from the cool effect with the 3D glasses is it makes you a little disoriented. You can't see as well going through, so you do get good scares because your eyes just can't adjust the way they do through a normal house. So I do like that aspect of it. It has been a long time since we've seen 3D. We went through a phase of a lot of 3D houses, so it might be time to give it another go. And go along the lines of in between where it was a serious house rather than a funny 3D house.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's the subject matter as well, I think helps.
Nice. All right, let's go to Liz next. Liz, what do you got?
Okay, well, we've talked a lot about the 80s, and the things that are left on my list are along with kind of keeping that 1984 anniversary vibe. I'm saying let's have just a 1980s slasher house. No particular IP characters, but kind of like American Horror Story 1984, where it's just set kind of taking inspiration from the 80s slashers, but just having a generic original slasher chasing you through the house.
I like that.
I
like that idea a lot. Yeah. Gary, what do you think?
I'm all in for that.
Yeah.
Anything 80s, anything slasher.
Nice.
You know, give me that you know, camp by the lake, bunk beds, throw a couple of Yeti Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
I would be down for that all
Nice.
day long.
Nice. Ash, you're down, right?
Oh yeah, like Gary, anything 80s. Just have a serial killer running through a yoga class in the 80s. That'd be cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to continue with the 80s thing because now I want to talk about, because Liz just mentioned it, 1984 in particular. So we're hearing some rumors about a certain house maybe making a reappearance this year because it will be the, what did I say, the 40th anniversary.
40th anniversary.
Oh, this is just nuts. 40th. I can't even believe this movie's 40 years old. This is nuts. But it was here not that long ago, but we are hearing rumors that possibly Ghostbusters will be making a return. We don't know that it's concrete or anything like that. This is just rumor, speculation, that kind of thing.
It's January.
Yeah, but that seems to be, I guess, I'll go with that. Seems to be the lead one. I think we've all have heard maybe. And then also it is the 30th anniversary of Ghostbusters 2. So do we get a combo house maybe if this is, possibly coming, or is it going to be a remake of the first one? What are your guys' thoughts about Ghostbusters? And then I want to talk about 1984 in particular after we talk about Ghostbusters first. So let's go. I'm just going to go on the list here. Gary, what do you think about this?
When I first heard this rumor, I was like, really? It wasn't that long ago that we had it. But because it was such a good property and the house was movie perfect pretty much, I'd be down for that, especially a mashup house, definitely.
All right, that's fair.
And the merch.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, I think I think maybe also in the back of their minds, maybe they want to do some readjusting because, man, there was something huge missing from that house to begin with. Liz, what were we missing?
I'm assuming you're talking about the Stay Puft Man because we needed a giant scene of him, but...
Right? Like, why did Hollywood get that last scene and we did not? That was absolutely incredible. And then I feel like we need to see, like, we need the Ecto 1 out in front or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just something a little bit more that they kind of missed the boat on the first one. If it is a combination of 1 and 2, that's fantastic. This also brings me back to my original comment of Fast and the Furious. Could this be where, if it comes, goes to that house because they could split the first house or the first part into part 1, and then you walk outside and it sets you up for part 2. If
it needs to go in the Fallon area so they can start it next to the...
I know why you guys want it there. I understand that because of the firehouse, I get that. And I don't think it's going to go Fast and Furious. I just think it would be a good idea. This way you could split it. I would imagine Ghostbusters is going to get the love in a soundstage.
Yeah, I don't think you put that house in a tent.
Right.
I just don't think you do.
I think it would be fantastic, but I think the soundstage is where it's going to be at. But how do you guys feel about a return of Ghostbusters? Not that long after we've had Ghostbusters. And how do you feel if it's 1 and 2? Do you think we get any of the new stuff in it? If this is something that is coming. Who wants to jump in?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
I agree with Gary. I heard this rumor and was like, oh, it's too soon. We just had it. I know it's the anniversary, but like you said, if they're going to bring it back, and I assume it will have at least part of it be the original movie because of the anniversary, then I think we've got to do a spin on it. I hope it's not like American Werewolf in London where we're getting the exact same house again. I'm hoping that we're going to see some new scenes, some new creative takes on, things that we missed the first time around. And then I say, let's go ahead and add Ghostbusters 2 so it does have some new content. And I grew up watching Ghostbusters 2 more than the original. Don't ask me why. I was a child, but I love that movie. So I would really like to see it represented as well.
Awesome.
We need the 2016 version where we just have Melissa McCarthy popping out every 5 minutes.
Let's add all the Ghostbusters in. All right, Gary, what do you think since you're there?
Yeah, I'd be down for it. It's an anniversary. It's a big IP. I could let it slide. There'd be other stuff. I'd rather see something new. But if you are going to have to get a repeat of something we've had modern, why not Ghostbusters? It's a fun property.
Sure. I agree.
As long as we get the Marshmallow Man.
Yes, please. Ash, what about you?
Yeah, I've got some thoughts. I think for this one, I think this rumor has got more than legs. I think it's got a torso as well. In terms of this, being at the event this year. We usually get our big IP in about March time. The nice thing about March this year, the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is March, so it would be nice to go with that. And I think it's a chance for them as well to right some wrongs. Like you said, Tim, the Ecto, why was the Ecto outside? That made no sense. I did really like the Janine Spield character, but going straight into the library was like, I want to go into the firehouse. That's what I want to go in straight away, is the firehouse. The Stay Puft was a pixelated mess. It was just a mess. He has some real cool Pepper's Ghost effects with the Slimer, and it has a lot of redeeming qualities. A couple of tweaks would have made it into a really good maze. So I'm excited that this could potentially be coming back.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm kind of with Gary. I wish we were getting something new. I'm sure if this comes, this iteration of this house is, it's going to be fantastic. We all know like what Universal can do. I agree. I think maybe this one might be a little bit too soon to come back, but also understand because of the big anniversaries, 40th anniversary and 30th anniversary of both the movies. It kind of makes sense. So we're gonna get to the rest of your list, but I want to talk about 1984 in general because we've already spoken about Nightmare on Elm Street, also 1984 movie. So now we've spoken about Ghostbusters, also 1984 movie. So now what I want to do is I just want to read off some other horror movies from 1984. You guys can jump in after I'm done. If anything that I say, moves you, let me know. So we have Friday the 13th, the final chapter. We have Firestarter. We have Children of the Corn. Let's see. We have Chud. I know Gary likes that one, right? Yes, buddy. Obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street. The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. I know we've had, The Hills Have Eyes, way back in the original day. Never know. This one has been talked about, I think, at least for the last 3, 4, 5, maybe a little bit longer. But Gremlins was also in 1984. Let me go down. There's just a couple more. Obviously, we mentioned Ghostbusters. The Toxic Avenger. Little trauma action.
Great movie.
Maybe.
Great movie.
Yep. Let me see what else we got here. I feel like there's. Here's the sci-fi and could tie in perfectly with Universal. You ready? The Terminator. Yes. All right. I figured you guys would laugh at that one. I think. I'm just looking at this list. I think that is basically the gist of the horror movies from 1984. So here is my thing. So we have 1984 as some kind of maybe possible launch pad of things to come. So, this is one of my crazy theories. I've had theories before. I think my last theory was the scary house and, why was, the security guard at the end having a patch that had nothing to do with being in that house, but it was part of something else. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So So what do you guys think? 1984 in general, some of those movies I mentioned, possibilities, maybe just way off and I'm just being crazy again. But I really want to hear your thoughts about like this 1984, maybe 40th anniversary of some of these like classic horror movies. Liz, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Yeah, 1984 was a good year. You know what else happened in 1984? I was born.
Oh my God.
Let us have a Liz house.
It's the Liz anniversary year.
Yes, there we go.
Liz anniversary.
But I'm staying 38 forever, so.
All right, that's fair. Fair.
No, I think you might be onto something. And everyone loved the 1980s theme in 2019 with the park-wide music, just the vibe from having Stranger Things and Ghostbusters. Exactly. Gary's got his Stranger Things cup showing off right now. So if we're going to have Nightmare on Elm Street, if we're going to have Ghostbusters, like I said, 1984 slasher type house, I think we can really lean into 1984 being the overall theme, go back to another 80s horror vibe, and I think everyone would love it.
Agreed. Ash, what do you think?
Yeah. 1984, well, I wasn't even a thought then, but horror fans were eating in 1984, it seems. But yeah, I mean, just going back, like Liz said, 28, when, we had the 80s years, I think 28 for me was probably the best event they've done in the last probably decade by a long stretch. So maybe they're going back to that. I think when we've been most successful in the last 10 years or so, probably 28 in terms of the original zones and the IPs that year. So yeah, I'm all for this. Get the 1984 IPs in and then build the originals around that. That'll probably work.
Love it. Gary, I can't wait to hear from you because I feel like you are definitely going to be on board with this.
So I have never ever thought about this before, but there is no reason why Terminator cannot be featured as a house.
Yeah, it absolutely could.
Yes, sir.
If you take Terminator 2 with the battle, the sci-fi elements, if you base the house around that, around Skynet, which AI is a very real threat these days, I think that could make an absolute solid house, to be fair. Nice. And I can't believe I've never even thought of that before.
Nice.
Chud is on the sort of Killer Klowns vibe. Killer Klowns was a not very known cult 80s B movie until Universal got involved with it, and now it's skyrocketed into fame. Could Chud be the next Killer Klowns to come back? Ash, didn't we have something along those lines at Horror Nights?
We did. It was pretty recent. It was the Sentence of Destruction, wasn't it?
Yep. It was all based in the New York Underground, which is what Chud is based off. And Chud also has a solid soundtrack. But the first thing that came to my mind when you were listening to all these movies was Julie Zimmerman in the early days, just taking IPs from everywhere and just throwing them in the house without any repercussions.
Absolutely.
Just imagine if you could just go back to those times and just
for sure.
Just chuck Terminator with Chud and have Freddy running alongside him, and nobody got sued. That
and
would just be the dream.
Just everybody.
Yeah.
So Gary, I have a question for you. I know I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's in the 80s, but it's not 84. But if you had a choice and you were in charge and they came to you and said, all right, listen, are we going to make a Chud house or are we going to make a chopping mall house? I just destroyed.
Chopping mall.
All right, I was going to say I look like I just destroyed Gary.
You broke him for a second.
I know. He's like,
chopping.
Man.
Has everybody seen Chopping Mall?
Yes. I wish they would bring a house of Chopping Mall.
Liz, get that on your list. It's on Amazon Prime.
All right, put it on the list.
It's just the height of 80s cheesiness.
Cheese, pure cheese.
Pure cheese, but like the storyline is actually pretty good and pretty relevant for the 80s, where like the way they thought of technology and stuff, and robots are pretty prevalent now in this day and age, so it could actually happen. That's the crazy thing. But the soundtrack's amazing. When that was re-released by Waxwork Records, I had that on pre-order straight away. But I would absolutely love to see that come to Halloween Horror Nights. I can't remember what year it is. I want to say 86.
I could look that up,
but I'm not too sure.
Let's see. Chopping Mall, 1986.
I would love to see that.
Nice. All right, so that's my crazy 1984 theory. I think you guys are all in agreement that maybe they're onto something, possibly. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, so does everybody still have stuff on their list? I have a couple things left. Nothing crazy.
Got a few.
Okay. All right, Liz.
Yeah, I'm on my last one, so I'll go. It works. It works with what you just said.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
A Slaughter Cinema sequel. So Slaughter Cinema Part 2.
Yes.
You can have some of these 80s cheese horror ideas represented in Slaughter Cinema. I think all of us here love that house. I know it was a fan favorite. You'd have to keep the balance of comedy. I've got a lot of comedy houses on my list, so not all of them could make it. But I think this would completely fit with a 1980s theme if we're going that direction.
Okay, so my question to you, Liz, then, so for Slaughter Cinema 2, are we making these up like they did the first time, or are we actually going to use like some of the crazy, B-80s horror movies?
Oh, I'm thinking let them create, because the ones they did for Slaughter Cinema were so funny. Just let them run with it and create their own hysterical titles again. And maybe we'll get spin-off houses like we did with Yeti. You never know.
This is true.
So I have a quick question for you as well, Liz. We mentioned 3D houses earlier. Could we make Slaughter Cinema a 3D house with the retro red and blue glasses?
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be
old
cool.
School 3D.
That would be pretty cool. I could see them doing that. The only complaint I would have there is because when you do a 3D house, they usually use that UV light, and I don't know if that would fit as well as the original Slaughter Cinema. But I could see it being part of the theme.
Yeah.
Nice.
The Beast Babies in 3D.
All right, Ash, any thoughts? Oh, my God.
Yeah, fan favorite.
Shitty's kids in... Do we need Shitty's kids in 3D?
It's just shitty.
Oh, boy. How do I follow that? Yeah. Give me some more original B movies. Fan favorite, fits nice with the 80s theme. We're talking we're all talking 80s theme. Like, yeah, it's 80s theme this year, but it's yeah.
We know
nothing else to say. Bring it back.
We're crafting our wish list for. We just want the 80s year. We're just the 80s year.
We're throwing it out there. We're trying to project that out. Let's get the 80s back. So, all right, Ash or Gary, who wants to go? Who's got stuff left on their list?
Have a couple of things. All right, cool. I think Gary may have this anyway because we talked about it on other episodes as well. We've had the Dueling Dragons lore from Merlinwood over in Islands. Maybe take some lore from Islands Adventure, the Port of Entry lore. Maybe even a Poseidon maze as well. I don't know if Gary has that. Do you have something like that in yours?
I don't. I do have a Port of Entry story that I would really like to.
Well,
see,
elaborate. I'd like to hear it. I'd like to hear it, Gary.
Just they've started to use the pirate actors, haven't they? So they could do that one sort of spin on a scary version of Pirates of the Caribbean type thing. Mm-hmm. If they build Dueling Dragons inside of a house, so there's no reason they can't build Port of Entry. Confisco Grill has also got a whole storyline around Port of Entry. With the owner and stuff like that, so they could really incorporate that into a pretty fun house with that sort of setting, and I think it could work really, really well.
Yeah, I think with the Poseidon as well would really be cool because you could have like the Darkanon could be the antagonist in there, and you could have that maze as well. Also, Discover Universal. I don't know if you've listened to it, Gary. If you haven't, they do like the lore of Islands Adventure, so definitely worth a listen if you haven't listened to that. It's one of their first releases. So yeah,
you could use Tim's favorite vortex tunnel. Put make it look like it has waves, and you walk through the vortex tunnel like you're going through Poseidon's Fury. Ooh. Just an idea.
Or just build a new path from Universal that directs you straight to Poseidon.
You just walk through the tunnel and then walk out.
The house already built.
All right, Gary, what do you got on your list? What do you got left?
Because of Oddfellow, this is more of a wish list, but I would love to see a Oddfellow versus Jackhouse, where Jack wants revenge on Dr. Oddfellow because he obviously, killed him. And now, Jack's wandering around for years thinking, oh, I've won. And then Oddfellow just pops up and he's back. And Jack's like, what the hell? So I really want to see a Oddfellow versus Jackhouse. I think that would be awesome.
I'm with you on that.
Happens for
HHN33.
HHN33.
Yes. You got it, Liz. Perfect. Yep, I was going to say the same thing. So
I think they've set it up.
yeah, 100%. All right, I'm just going to throw out. I have two left, so I'm just going to throw out, and they're both wish list. And I'm sure you guys have heard me say this before. So it fits. Well, at least one of them fits the '80s theme, and that's Hellraiser. We have never had Hellraiser with a house. I think he's been here before because I'm sure Julie threw him in somewhere along the lines as well.
Yeah, he was in the director's house in 2006. I think was the last time he's been at the event.
But I think it is just way overdue that Mr. Pinhead gets his own house now. That's just me. And then my other wish list. I mean, I say this every year, and I think it got all messed up this year with the way things have happened with the actresses for this movie series. But I want Scream to come and have its own house, but I think we are totally screwed with that ever coming now.
It's so sad, so unfortunate. Also, in 2006, Director House.
Oh,
so both of your
everybody was in that house.
You would have loved that house.
Damn. But those are just my wish list. So any thoughts about Scream or Hellraiser for you guys?
Yeah, for me, Scream was my gateway into horror films. That was the first real scary movie I watched. And it's so sad that we can't get the rights in order to have it because it's missing. It's one of the best, I want to say modern, but it's really not modern anymore, but one of the best modern horror movies. And it's just so sad it's never gotten a full house.
You're not wrong. Me and Ash have talked about this on numerous occasions. We think that movie was like the gateway again to horror and bringing back that
it revitalized the whole genre.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
correct. So, any other thoughts from you guys about Hellraiser and or Scream? Gary, Ash.
I know you hate me for this, but I'm just not a huge Scream fan.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Shame.
It's not going to be me that comes after you. It'll be everybody else. So don't.
I know. I watched it. I'll watch it again. It's not something that's massively in my horror rotation. You have your favorite horror comfort movies. I did enjoy the two new ones that they released the past couple of years more than the original. But it's fun. It's just not something that I hugely excited.
Liz is having a heart attack over here. You see her eyes are lighting up, going, "What? God damn it! What? Please stop it!
How dare you?"
That's a crazy take.
But honestly, I can understand that from some people because that's what they know now and maybe have gone back to finally maybe watch the original, however many beforehand. It kind of sucks that we're not going to get this third one now because I'm with you, Gary. I was kind of enjoying the new reboot, if you will, retake on.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah. So, it's really sad that, unfortunately, some events and now, both actresses are out of that. The director left. Like, everybody's gone now from those last two movies because, the studios are dumb. End of story. I'm not going to get into it, but the studios are just dumb. So, Ash, any thoughts about those two movies I was just mentioned?
Yeah, just give the Hellraiser a little bit of love too. That's another big one. Obviously, that's we've never had on its own. I think the Cenobites and just like the fleshless people, blood, guts, gore. I think that could be a terrifying house.
Yes, I agree. I just think all the costuming and makeup stuff for that house would be just so fantastic with the characters and stuff that is in that movie. So
yeah, there's plenty of leather in there.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. All right, so me and Liz's lists are kind of complete now. Ash and Gary, what do you guys have left?
I've just got one more.
Okay, so Gary, you go.
We've had a lot of music houses, but it's always been sort of rock themed. With the success of the music from 2019, I would love to see like a house based around synthwave or something done with that genre of music. Maybe it's like even Midnight Syndicate, a house based around something original for them.
That'd be sick.
We had The Weeknd make a house. We had Billie Eilish on the block as well before it got chopped. Get Midnight Syndicate in, who are a huge part of Halloween Horror Nights history, make a house, basically. I think that would be so cool.
I'm going to jump in. I love synthwave. One of my favorite genres ever. I will, like, when I'm walking, running, whatever, I love listening to it. It's fantastic. What if, and I would love that house, Midnight Syndicate and all that, but what if the Lagoon show comes back and it's just all synthwave?
Yes.
That would be sick. Yeah, I would be down for that.
Okay. Just a quick question there.
Yeah, and I think that soundtrack that Gary's talking about could be the soundtrack for my 1980s slasher house. That
100%.
It's an original idea. Use the synthwave in the house and just really bring in that vibe.
Universal, are you paying attention? Because you can all just give us paychecks now. Just saying. Ash, any thoughts on Gary's last item on his list? Oh my God, just cut myself off.
Yeah, music always is, recently I just think, like you just said, The Weeknd went down really well. Hellbilly Deluxe Zone was great too. So, yeah, Maze would be nice. Lagoon Show would be great as well. So, I'm all for that, yeah.
Nice. All right, Ash, what's left on your list, sir?
I think I have
Probably
two.
got,
I'll just go over.
Scroll it down. He's still got 35 left to go.
I've got one. I've got one for Liz. I wanted to do this and try and incorporate that kind of winter aspect as well, but it's Nightingales. Bringing the Nightingales back and maybe do. I know they've done World War One and they did like the Roman Colosseum fighting pits, whatever they did as well. I was thinking, where in history have we had like a cold, I guess, setting, and it was World War Two, Battle of Stalingrad in Russia. I know they did World War One, but if they could do maybe a World War Two, have the Nightingales, but you could have any, battle across history. It could be the Civil War. I don't know. You could go back to Genghis Khan and the Mongolians. I don't know what it may be, but anywhere where there's a big battle and the Nightingales can feed off the mess and chaos there. So I think that'd be good. Also, just while I'm here, Gary mentioned like Ghost Town, that requel. I would love a Swords and Steam requel too. We had the Zone in 20 and the Maze in 21 in the Jaws queue. So it's been a long time since we've had Swords and Steam. So like that dystopian sort of steampunk vibe as well. So I'm ready for Swords and Steam to come back as well.
Yeah, he's speaking to my heart right now. He's got winter. He's got
Liz,
Nightingales. He's just speaking directly to me. I am all for a winter themed Nightingales house.
Nice.
And like you said, I mean, there's so many events that they could pull from to bring the Nightingales back. I don't think that was the last we'll ever see the Nightingales. I do think we'll get another one. Not sure when, but I know I will love it. And for Saws and Steam, I've always wanted a BioShock house. The game is it's moved on. It's been a while, but I do believe they're producing a TV series or an Amazon series. I saw something about that. So if that's true, Saws and Steam was a little bit taking inspiration from BioShock. Correct. I would love to see just a straight up BioShock house, but
that'd be sick.
Same idea.
I mean, why not? I mean, they're obviously going back to video games. We had the Last of Us, this previous year. And I mean, I would have to say it was pretty successful, and I think we all agreed that it was a really good house. Like that was not a bad house.
Oh yeah.
So I'm with you. That BioShock, that'd be sick. All right, Ash, what else you got on? Or were those two your final, or do you have one more?
Those two were my final, but what I'll do is Jason did send me the list. Do you want me to just read off them?
Oh, what Jason had? Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So for some of his, he had Tales from the Crypt. He had Demon Knight specifically, but we've had, obviously, the Crypt Keeper. So, I mean, that wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility. Legends of the Hidden Temple. 13 Ghosts.
All right.
Yeah, 13 Ghosts. Very good movie.
Good one. Yep.
One that we didn't touch on. I'm surprised nobody mentioned this as well, because this is just John Murdy all over it. Terrifier. I'm surprised none of us mentioned it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not a wish list, that's why.
Right.
Well, I mean, that one's more of a rumor, right? Terrifier?
Yeah, I think it was more. That was more of a rumor. Yeah.
And I feel like that had some legs last year too, as well.
Right.
And now there's a new one coming out,
and that's going to be Christmas based, isn't it? It's going to be like a Christmas based one. So you might get your Christmas house, Liz, but it's going to be Terrifier. But I've never seen any of them. That kind of genre, just pure guts and go for that. It just doesn't really do anything for me, but I do want to see it.
I think this would be a great house or an addition for HHN because it's so gory. I feel like we don't get a lot of gory houses.
Right.
And
they've stepped away from that.
They did step away from it. I can imagine a lot of complaints with the demographic
Right.
now.
It blows my mind. Hello, people. It's horror. Hello. Like, they do crazy stuff. That's why it's called a horror movie.
That's true.
That's it. That's all I got to say. But I've seen the first one. You know, not my cup of tea, but you know, it was all right. I hear the second one's kind of better and more wild. But I haven't watched that one yet. I know, is that still on Peacock? Isn't that where Terrifier was on, or somewhere?
I don't think it's ever been on Peacock, has it?
It's somewhere. Maybe it's Hulu. I don't remember, but I know 1 and 2 are somewhere. So I need to just watch the second one. So I'll do my homework on that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's more of a rumor, right? Terrifier.
Yeah, and I don't think I'll catch it unless it is announced to come. Then I will, you know, dive into the source material. Then yeah. It's also got Hellraiser, and he did put in parentheses Brian from Inside Universal also agrees with me. Well, so does,
yes,
so does Tim too.
Yes.
And then Tim, one that we went to see pretty recently, he did say that the Thanksgiving movie. I think that would be a nice addition.
So Gary and Liz, I don't think you guys have seen it yet, right?
Correct.
I walked out of that movie and I was like, man, that was kind of the best horror movie I've seen in a while. It was fantastic. It's typical, like it gave you 80 slashers vibe, didn't it?
Yeah, and it gave me Scream vibe too. It's like a whodunit as well.
That too. So it's kind of that combo 80 slasher and then getting back into that, you know, that 90s vibe of Scream. So I get that. It was a fun movie. I think that would
and the kill scenes were elite too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would make a great addition for a house. And I mean, it's Eli Roth, so let's go.
Yep. We had Crypt TV. That was Eli Roth, right?
Yeah.
That Eli Roth, Crypt TV. I'm sure it was, right? Was he not?
He was. I don't think he was part of that, was he?
I'm sure. Google that. Somebody Google that. Eli Roth, Crypt TV.
I think he was.
Sure he was.
Hold on. Let's not give out false facts here.
Bear with us, listeners. Don't tap your tweets out to us just yet. Let us verify.
Got to do the fact checking here.
Yep.
Tim's on the hunt.
Dun, 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 dun.
Gotta check those facts.
Oh yeah. Oh Jesus, I'm an idiot. You are correct. So basically, it's a company founded by Jack Davis and Eli Roth in 2015. So you are correct.
There you go. There's a little partnership there. So who knows?
I mean, yeah, that's true.
And there's your holiday themed horror too. There you go.
Man, we're getting it all in one shot, right? All right, so that is basically our way too early predictions, rumors, speculation, wish list stuff. We were talking about doing this for a little bit now, so we finally got together and came up with our lists. Let us know what you guys think. You know, what other houses do you think could add to this? You know, to our 1984 crazy theory of 40th anniversary of movies and stuff. You know, or maybe it's just going to be another 80s theme, which we're all about anyway. So. So before we get out of here, anybody got any last thoughts? I'm just going to go around. Liz, anything going on? Anything we forgot? Anything we should talk about?
No, I think I like our little 1980s theme. I think we've put together a pretty good list. If any of these get chosen, I'll be pretty excited.
Yeah, I agree. Ash, what about you?
Yeah, nothing really. We've covered everything in here. There's not real much going on right now.
True. And then finally, Gary.
So if you are watching this on YouTube, leave us a comment down below on what you think for your list, what you think of our list, and what you would add onto your list. If you are also listening to the audio version, Spotify now has a feature where we can leave a comment, ask a question below. So you can scroll down on Spotify and you can leave us your list there as well. So interesting to hear what you guys think.
Let's do it. All right, Ash, you wanna talk about that real quick then?
Yeah, I think it's cool to mention it.
Yeah,
seeing as the Universal Orlando Resort is our sort of domain, not just Horror Nights, but just Mardi Gras starting soon, 3rd of February through April the 7th. Tim, you've got yourself booked on a nice little float, right?
Yep. So do you?
I do. That's right.
Yep. We will be chucking beads out at some of the parades. I would just like to add, though, I think Mardi Gras is actually a good segue for HHN because it kind of incorporates a lot of similarities. If you've seen,
I absolutely agree. Like a mini HHN these days, sort of.
Obviously, there's no mazes and scare zones and stuff like that. But like, if you go into the tribute store, just a lot of spookiness. A lot of HHN.
Coconut Club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Liz, are you going? Are you going to go? Or are you going to wait to see first? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I was so sad they didn't bring it back for Christmas, so I will definitely be at the Coconut Club checking out the new cursed version and seeing what they bring to it.
Well, I mean, they brought it back for Christmas, but they didn't have like decorations up when they first opened it. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
That didn't count.
yeah,
that was
I mean,
that was
all right,
not the
that's fair.
same.
All right, that's fair. But I think Mardi Gras is a big segue into HHN because it's just kind of got those like similar vibes and stuff. So I've got nothing else. You know, it was nice to be back finally. It's been a while for me, so we'll have some more episodes coming in the future here pretty soon. Hey, Ash.
Don't ask me.
Where can people find us at? Oh, you know you're getting it, so.
I did it last episode. Come on now. We are
No, you didn't. And if you did, you hosted.
Yeah, I hosted and I did it because I'm nice like that.
He sure did.
Well, I'm not nice like that,
But,
so.
No, I know you are. And after I said I was glad you were back today, so we are. So we are at RIP Tour Podcast on here, if you're watching, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We have a Spreadshirt. Where else are we, guys? Somebody help me out if I've not mentioned anything.
Threads.
Threads, of course. Yes,
Yeah.
we have Threads for half a day.
Discord? Did we talk
when it
about
was
Discord?
popular for half a day.
Discord,
yeah,
we need to get back on there.
to get back on there. It's just difficult, isn't it? With when HHN ends, it's the holidays, then you're waiting for spec season, so it can be difficult that way.
We're getting there. So we're at the end of January, so we're beginning February, and we might see an announcement maybe March, possibly. You never know. Maybe April. Does anybody know when we got the first announcement last year?
I can Google it. I
Yeah,
think
the
it was
last day of
March.
Hellraiser.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
Gary
All right,
wins.
that's
Gary wins today.
All right. I'm out.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, well, that's it for us, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And actually, you can see us now on YouTube along with listening to us on the podcast. So we've with this new software, which is fantastic so far. So, but thanks again, and we will talk to you guys all very, very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.